Hey y'all, it's Kiki. Welcome to my channel. Today, I felt like touching the topic of being nicer to yourself, having more self-compassion, because that's something I'm struggling with right now. I just recently started therapy about a month ago. But one of the things that did come up during my therapy session was my therapist mentioning how I need to have more self-compassion for myself and stop being so mean to myself and stop being so hard on myself, right? One of the things that I experience a lot of is guilt and shame. And we know, well, if you don't know, I think when it comes to guilt is a feeling you get when you feel like you've done something wrong. And then shame is kind of like when you beat yourself up about it, I think. You feel guilt when you feel like you've done something that is wrong, right? But in this case, a lot of the times I will feel guilty because not because I think that it's wrong, but because I think other people think that it's wrong. I could genuinely just be making a decision that helps me or that benefits me, or a decision that is gonna like help me in the long run, but it may be something that somebody else doesn't agree with. And so once they voice that to me and they make it very clear that they don't agree with it and that they don't like it, then I feel guilty about it. And my therapist asked me like, why do you feel guilty? Like, if this makes you happy, if this is something that you want to do, or if you're not doing something because you don't want to do it, why do you feel guilty about it? And I remember saying like, because like I don't want to be seen as the bad guy, or I don't want to be seen as selfish, and I don't want to be seen as inconsiderate. And I remember her being like, well, you are already seen as that, so it's a little too late for that, right? And she was speaking from a point of view of when we are surrounded by people who only want us to service them in some way, right? The moment we start to do things that service ourselves, then it's like they make us feel bad about it, right? But all in all, you ain't even supposed to be around the people, no way. Let's just keep it a being. Nobody should make you feel guilty for doing something that works best for you. Nobody should make you feel bad for, seeking out your happiness no matter where you're finding it, even if you're not finding it in that person and you're finding it in somebody else. And then we worry about how we look to these other people, but long story short, it's a little too late because we already look that way anyways. I remember telling her like, I don't want them to call me selfish. I don't want them to call me inconsiderate. And she was like, they are already saying it though. They already feel that. They already think that they already feel that way. So it's a little too late to try to clean it up when you've already got that label. When you're dealing with people who only want you to be a part of their lives so that you can benefit them and so that you can be of service to them, anything that you do that is outside of them will be seen as selfish. Any decision that you make that is outside of them will be seen as inconsiderate. So you kind of already got those labels, and you trying your hardest to do the best you can to not get those labels, but babe, they already think that about you and they already feel that about you. So that's when you kind of have to go ahead and realize that, or me, I had to realize that a lot of the things that I was doing, as far as my life went, I was basically making decisions in hopes to control a situation. But if I haven't learned anything, I've learned that the only thing I can control is myself. I can't control how somebody else feels. I can't control how somebody else thinks. I can't control how a situation turns out. I can only control what I do, how I react, and things like that. Now it's like you are just going to have to be upset. You're just going to have to be disappointed. You're just going to have to be mad. You're just going to have to be in your feelings. You're just going to have to feel whatever that you need to feel to make me seem like the bad guy. But I'm happy. Like, you're just gonna have to feel those feelings. And I realized that I'm gonna have to be okay with other people feeling those things about me and not making it seem like the end of the world. Like, you're not gonna die because I don't want to come to your birthday party. Like, this is not the end of the world. Like, you're not gonna die because I don't want to send you a text message. It's literally not the end of the world. Like, please. When you think about feelings of guilt and shame, they all kind of stem from childhood. Or at least for me, they do. It has to for everybody, especially if you're somebody who could never say no, or you were trying to make sure that you did everything to make everybody else happy and make sure you kept the peace. Meanwhile, you losing your mind. That stems from childhood. My biggest thing now is healing that inner child and doing whatever that I need to do to make sure that they are okay and make sure that they are happy and they get everything that they need. So I'm making sure that I'm protecting them. I'm making sure that I'm letting them express themselves. I'm making sure that I'm doing whatever makes them happy and reassuring them whenever they feel like they need some type of reassurance and things like that. Another thing too that has been helping me is a lot of shadow work, child. Shadow work is your best friend. I got some of these prompts off of Pinterest, but you can get it from anywhere. Pinterest, TikTok, YouTube. Just type in shadow work. That's pretty much what I do. I'll put them like up on the screen. It's basically a post I saw on Pinterest. A post I found on Pinterest that has like a bunch of shadow work prompts. Those prompts definitely helped me when it comes to healing my inner child, because I'm still in the process of doing it. It's so much easier said than done though. I have to make that very clear. It's easier to just be like, okay, I'm gonna stop caring about what people think and I'm gonna stop caring about what people feel. It's a process. It's not an overnight thing. It takes practice, it takes time. But eventually, I mean, the time is gonna pass anyway, so you might as well spend the time that's gonna pass making sure that you get to that point of being okay and being content with where you are and who you are, and not being so caught up in who doesn't agree with it and who doesn't like it. I'm a huge fan of like affirmations and stuff like that. I don't know because I was also a person who felt like affirmations were corny. I was like, no, I'm not saying affirmations. I'm not doing that. You know, like, I'm not saying that in the mirror. I'm not saying this and this out loud. But it actually does help. I'm not gonna lie. And it doesn't have to be like affirmations you find on social media. It can literally just be something that you think you need to hear in the moment. Lately, I've been saying, I know who I am and I know what I want. Because at one point, I was allowing other people to tell me who I was and how I should be and how I should show up. So for the past, I want to say about maybe a year and a half, one of my affirmations has been, I know who I am and I know what I want. And before you know it, those things will come true and they will come to pass, you know? I feel like the best ways to come up with affirmations for yourself is just to ask yourself what you need to hear right now, and then write it out or say it to yourself on a regular basis. I still have my moments when I'm like, damn, you know? But as a person who was once a people pleaser, once you step out of that and you start doing what works best for you, you have to be prepared to be seen as the bad guy, and you have to be okay with that role. Even if none of what you're doing is hurting anybody, right? You just simply just living life and doing what works best for you and what is most important for your healing. But like I said, there may be people in your life who feel like if you are not doing any and everything that is serving them and that benefits them, then you are being selfish. And you have to be okay with all of those labels that people gonna slap on you. You have to be okay with taking on the role of bad guy, because once you step into who you really are and you step out of living for other people, that's how they're gonna see you regardless. Ain't no way around it. There's no trying to reason with them. There's no trying to get them to understand where you're coming from. Because in most cases, you may understand them, but they don't understand you. And they don't want to. And they may not even be able to. Because a lot of the times, people who don't understand themselves can't understand anybody else. So there's no need to try to sit around and try to convince these people that, oh no, I'm not a bad person. It's just that I want to do what works best for me. They don't care. You know, and that sounds so harsh, but they don't care. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. They want to take whatever they can from you. They want to suck whatever life they can out of you to help them feel better about themselves. You know, there's no sense in trying to go out on a limb and prove whatever and say whatever, babe. Let people think what they're gonna think. Let people feel what they're gonna feel. This is the most important time in life right now. And this goes for whatever age, whatever you are right now. If you finally realize that you have been in a that you have been in a very unhealthy cycle with yourself and with people around you, and you are deciding to step out of that, this is the most important time in life. And this is where you need you the most. You don't need nobody else right now. You need you the most. You need to show up for yourself in the way that you would have liked for somebody to show up for you when you were younger. Recently, I heard somebody on TikTok say that to help them heal their inner child, they made a childhood picture of themselves their wallpaper. I decided to make, I think I was 10 in this picture. It was the first day of 5th grade, and I was going to a brand new school. I remember this day like yesterday. I remember, clean as day. But I made this picture. Hopefully y'all can see it. Yeah, and that's also me in the corner too. But I decided to make that picture my wallpaper, and now when I look at it, it's like, okay, when I'm in certain situations, right, and I feel like there's conflict afoot, or I feel like I'm having a hard time expressing myself, or I'm having a hard time protecting myself, I think, okay, how would I have liked somebody to show up for me at that age? And then I show up for myself in this very moment. What did I want somebody to say for me? What did I want somebody to do for me? How did I want to be loved in that moment? What type of affection did I want in that moment? When I was sad, how did I want to express myself? When I was happy, how did I want to express myself? I'm literally asking myself all these questions to try and help who I am right now in this moment, right? Because ultimately, I'm not 10 anymore. I literally turned 25 in like 2 weeks. I turned 25 in 2 weeks. So that was 15 years ago. Oh my goodness. I mean, ultimately, we're all just like big ass kids at heart. We all just have our inner child just sitting there, just waiting to be loved and just waiting to be seen and heard and so on and so forth. So that's how I've decided to show up for my, my inner child. The feeling of guilt is not gonna go away easily though. You're gonna feel guilty. But I feel like nowadays I am getting a phone call. Hold on. Like I was saying, the feeling of guilt is not just gonna fade away, right? It's not just gonna leave the moment you decide to start doing what works best for you. But I find that it's a good thing, because you know that you finally decided to do something that benefits you and it's not benefiting anybody else, right? I won't look at it as in, oh no, I've done something bad. I will look at it as in, I've finally done something for me. And this is just my body letting me know, like, it's been a while since I've done something like this, But you have to stand 10 toes. Like, you can't let people try to shame you out of doing what works best for you. You can't make people try to tell you like, oh, you're being petty, you're being selfish, you're being prideful, blah, blah, blah. Because ultimately, those people, like I said, are the same people who want to benefit from you, babe. They don't want the best for you. They just want the best for them. And you probably play a large part in doing the best, that is for them. So you definitely have to be very, very bold, and you have to know what you want, and you have to stand on it 10 toes, period. You are the only permanent thing in your life, right? Of course, we have family, we got friends, so on and so forth. But everybody comes and goes. Everybody got to go one day. So ultimately, you're the only thing that is permanent in your life. So it's very important that you make sure that you are okay first before you can show up and be anything for anybody else. I hope this video was helpful in a way. Comment down below, add some extra. If I miss anything, let me know, because I love a good conversation. But I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.